Dear students, in this lecture I am providing you the solutions to a few problems that I have selected from the classical free electron theory and superconductivity.
Let me start from the first problem. It was to calculate the mobility of electrons in silver and also to calculate density of electrons. Let me read the problem once. The density of silver is 10.5 into 10 power 3 kg per meter cube. The atomic weight of silver is 107.9. Assuming that each silver atom provides one conduction electron, calculate the density of electrons. The conductivity of silver at 20 degrees centigrade is 6.8 into 10 power 7 ohm per meter. The calculate also the mobility of electrons. So to ease you, I have listed the data given in the problem. That is, density of silver is given. Atomic weight, sometimes it is called molecular weight, represented with M. Usually it will be given without unit in the problems. You understand that it will be in gram and that should be converted into kg. It all depends on how we take the Avogadro number. Avogadro number is, for example, 6.023 into 10 power 23 molecules per gram mole. If it is 10 power 26, it will be molecules per kg mole. So depending on that, the unit will be taken. Anyway, when we go to solve the problem, you will understand better. Number of free electrons per atom given is 1. You can say that valence electrons also. Conductivity is mentioned and temperature is given. Temperature is 20 degrees centigrade. It is in centigrade, but in most of the calculations, we take the absolute scale. Therefore, I have to add 273 to 20 degrees centigrade. Therefore, these are the values given. And the density of the electrons and mobility have to be calculated. Before solving the problem, you need to understand few points. That number of atoms in m gram is said to be Avogadro number. That is the actual definition of Avogadro number. M means molecular weight or atomic weight. So in a substance having the mass equal to the molecular weight, the number of atoms which are present is known as the Avogadro number. And number of atoms in 1 gram, therefore Na divided by M. If you need the number of atoms in 1 gram, you have to divide the Avogadro number by the molecular weight. And number of atoms in 1 kilogram, since this is in gram, now I am taking 1 kilogram. Kilo means 10 power 3, therefore just 10 power 3 is multiplied. And density, by definition, it is mass by volume. Here the mass that we are taking is the molecular weight, that is the atomic weight. And volume can be taken as capital V, I have not shown here. And density is therefore on rearranging, you will get volume is equal to mass by density or molecular weight by density. You remember this equation. Density is therefore on rearranging, you will get volume is equal to mass by density or molecular weight by density. You remember this equation. So while solving the problem, we are going to determine the number of electrons per unit volume. That is density of electrons we are calculating. Number of electrons per atom is required for that. That is the valency. It is given to be 1 in this problem. And number of atoms available in the given substance of mass equal to molecular weight. Number of atoms in the substance equal to molecular weight is nothing but the Avogadro number. So the mass of the substance which you have taken is molecular weight. Therefore, volume is given by, as per this equation, m by d. So that small n is equal to number of electrons per atom, Na, and if you bring d to the numerator, it becomes Na into d divided by m. So that now substitute the number of electrons per atom, it was 1 as per the problem. And Na means Avogadro number, 6.023 into 10 power 23. Since I am taking 10 power 23, it should be in the unit of molecules per gram mole. Therefore, this should be taken in gram first and then convert it to kg, because substitutions While solving any problem, all the values should be substituted in SI system. That's why molecular weight is taken in kilogram. So on substituting the values, the density was given, that is also substituted, and simplifying the problem gives you the answer 0.586 into 10 power 29 per meter cube. And second part of the problem, we need to calculate the mobility. This is the simple equation for conductivity Ne mu. Therefore, mu is equal to Ne by sigma. N number of electrons per unit volume, that is calculated. And E is the charge of electron, it is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. And sigma was given in the problem, that is substituted. So on calculating, you will get this answer, 7.23 into 10 power minus 3 meter square per volt second. Now let us understand the second problem. And in this second problem, aluminum wire of length 5 meter, radius 0.5 millimeter, and resistance 60 milli-ohm, small m represents milli, carries a current 30 ampere. Calculate free electron concentration if the wire has 3 electrons per atom. Determine also the drift velocity and mobility of electrons. And also given atomic weight of aluminum and the density. So given values are enlisted here. Length 5 meter. Length is 5 meter. Radius of the wire is 0.5 millimeter. You can convert that into meter, 0.5 into 10 power minus 3 meter. Resistance is 60 milli-ohm. So 60 into 10 power minus 3 ohm in SI system. Current 30 ampere is given. Number of electrons per atom is 3 in this problem. In the previous problem it was 1. So now number of electrons per atom. Electrons means number of free electrons per atom. Basically they are valence electrons, and when they get some energy they become free electrons. That's why we say that number of free electrons per atom, it is 3. Atomic weight is given to be 26.98. That should be taken in gram, of course. And density is given for the given substance. What to find? Free electron concentration, that is N to be calculated, drift velocity to be calculated, and mobility. These are the 3 parameters to be estimated. N to be calculated in a way how we calculated in the first problem. Number of electrons per atom, it is 3 given in this problem. And Na, Avogadro number, 6.023 into 10 power 23. Density is given in this problem, and the molecular weight is also given. On substituting them, we will get the answer 1.81 into 10 power 29 per meter cube. And resistivity, that is the second part of the problem. Ra by L is the resistivity equation which we learned during our discussions. During the discussion of classical free electron theory, in the physical class itself we had learned this in both the sections, J and L. And here area of cross section is not directly given in the problem, therefore we need pi r square, because for a given wire cross section is circular, therefore pi r square is taken. Length of the wire is given. So radius L and resistance, capital R is resistance, are given in the problem. Substitute them in order to get this answer. And then mobility. Mobility, in the previous problem I had taken sigma is equal to Ne mu. Sigma means it was the electrical conductivity there. Here resistivity. You know that resistivity is reciprocal of the electrical conductivity. That's why here rho is equal to 1 by mu Ne, or mu is equal to 1 by rho Ne. Resistivity calculated here. N, that is also calculated. E is the standard constant. It is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb charge of the electron. On substituting them, you will get this answer. I have given the values here. And to calculate the drift velocity, Vd is equal to mu E. So in order to calculate this Vd, just substitute the value calculated, mobility value is calculated, and electric field means voltage divided by length. Length is known, but voltage is not directly given. Voltage is nothing but I into R according to Ohm's law. Therefore, IR by L is electric field. Mu is known here. Substitute the value of mu IR divided by L. So you will get this answer. And then problem number 3. For a metal having 6.5 into 10 power 28 electrons per meter cube, estimate the relaxation time if metal has electrical resistivity. That means density of electrons is given n, that is what we calculated from the first two problems. This problem is already giving this value. Electrical resistivity rho is given. We need to find relaxation time. It is a simple problem. Rho is equal to m by ne square tau. This is the basic equation. And tau is equal to m by ne square rho. Here E is the charge of electron, although it is not given in the problem. Usually we will mention in the question paper if it is given in the exams. So since we know that E is the constant, I have not mentioned in the problem, and we will substitute 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. M is mass of electron. Probably I have mentioned, yeah, it is given here 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. That is for electron. Since we are dealing with the electrons in this chapter especially, M is obviously mass of electron and E is charge of electron. N is given here, rho is also given. So on substituting you will get the answer. Since it is the relaxation time, the unit is second. So let me take a short break. I will come back to the the portal of the website. Just hold on. I just want to check how many of you are here. Oh, 71 people are here. Very good. Just hold on. Okay. So there is one option for you to reply. I'm searching for that. We have solved 3 problems so far. Still we have to go for the next 3. Next 9, not next 3. Right. So everything is going well. I will come back to the page now. Problem 3 is finished. And for problem number 4, it's good if I take the slide view. So problem number 4 is that a wire of uniform cross section has resistivity 1.54 into 10 power minus 8 ohm meter at 300 degree Kelvin. The material has 5.8 into 10 power 28 electrons per meter cube, which are drifted by an electron 5 volt per centimeter. To convert this into meter, calculate drift velocity, mobility and relaxation time. And you please note that I'm going little fast, because if I take more than 30 minutes or 35 minutes, your data consumption will be very high. Usually I have understood that for 30 minutes of lecture, you will lose the data about 400 to 500 MB. That's why I'm going little fast. If you find any difficulty in understanding my description, you can revisit. I'm recording the video, or I will share that video later to you. So you can re-watch the video and understand. And if you find any problem, again, you can contact me to clarify those doubts. So the data given here is n number of electrons per meter cube. Electrical resistivity is given and electric field is given. Volt per centimeter is here. You have to convert that into volt per meter. Centi means 10 power minus 2. That is in the denominator. If it is brought to the numerator, it becomes 10 power plus 2. Therefore, in SI system, this value will become 500 volt per meter. You remember this. This becomes 500 volt per meter after converting centimeter into meter. And this is already in SI system, other also, everything is in SI system. Now let us calculate. Drift velocity equation is sigma E by Ne. You can understand that the current density is NeVd, and the current density is also given by sigma E. On equating these two equations, we will get this expression. So this is all learned during the theory. And on substituting the given values, N value was given, sigma is given, hope it is given. Yeah, sigma is not directly mentioned. You have to calculate sigma by taking the reciprocal of this resistivity, because sigma is electrical conductivity. Otherwise, in this equation itself, you can write this as Vd equal to E by rho Ne. So directly you can substitute rho value, N value, E charge of electron. Electric field is given directly. It is directly 500 volt per meter. Substitute them and then calculate the answer. You will get 0.7 meter per second. And mobility, drift velocity per unit electric field is the basic definition. Drift velocity is known. E is given 500 volt per meter. Just substitution gives you this answer. And drift velocity is also defined by this equation, E tau by m. We are interested to calculate the relaxation time. So on rearranging, you will get mu m by E. Therefore, tau is 3.97 to 10 power minus 14 second. And I think they were the only two required values. Not only two, three. We have calculated all the three: mobility, drift velocity, and relaxation time. All three have been finished. And in this problem, calculate average kinetic energy in electron volt of an electron at 30 degrees centigrade. Using classical free electron concept, also find magnitude of velocity. Using classical free electron theory concept means you have to use the equations of the classical free electron theory. Temperature is given in centigrade, convert that into Kelvin scale, and using that temperature you have to simply calculate the average kinetic energy. That should be in electron volt. It is very simple. Energy, according to the classical theory, is 3 by 2 kT. So and also energy is half mv/th square. Vth means it is the thermal velocity. Half mv square. In the place of E, you can write half mv/th square, that is equal to 3 by 2 kT. And on rearranging, simplifying, you will get this expression. Vth is equal to square root of 3 kT by m. And on substituting the value of K is the Boltzmann constant. Its value is 1.38 into 10 power minus 23 joule per Kelvin. And temperature is given. Mass of electron to be used, 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. That is to be substituted and calculated. And you will get the answer first in joule, in fact, and multiply the charge of electron to get the electric field, energy in terms of electron volt. For example, if you get some value x here, x into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 will give you this answer, 0.04 electron volt. Right. Now, problem number 6. Now this is related to Fermi level. Fermi level in silver is 5 electron volt at 0 degree Kelvin of temperature. Calculate the electron density and probability of occupation for electrons at a level corresponding to 5.5 electron volt. So for this, the data are Fermi energy. Fermi level in silver is 5 electron volt at 0 degree Kelvin, means it is the Fermi energy. Energy corresponding to the energy level at 0 degree Kelvin, where electrons have occupied the highest energy value, is nothing but Fermi energy. That's why it is EF. This in electron volt, I have converted that into joule by multiplying 1.6 into 10 power minus 90. Oh, I made a mistake while telling you the conversion of energy to electron volt. Here, after getting the value in joule, you should not multiply the charge, you have to divide the value. If you get the energy value x joule, you divide x by 1.6 into 10 power minus 90. So that you will get the value in electron volt. Okay, let me come back. So here, in order to get electron, that is joule, value in joule, multiply the charge of electron. And temperature 0 degree Kelvin is given. Energy E means it is an energy level above, probably it is given. Fermi level is this. Probability of occupation of electrons at a level corresponding to 5.5. 5.5 is greater than 5, so obviously it is a level above the Fermi level. Okay, these are the given values. Electron density to be calculated and probability of occupation. In terms of the Fermi energy, this is the equation for number of electrons per unit volume. M is mass of electron, H is Planck's constant. So, on rearranging this equation, EF naught is nothing but EF. Sometimes we represent EF as EF naught just to say that this is measured at the temperature equal to 0 degree Kelvin. So here EF and EF naught are one and the same, right? So this equation is rearranged here to help you understand. If you bring 8m to left hand side, it becomes 8m EF naught divided by h square, 3n by pi power 2 by 3. And then multiply these powers of both the sides by 3 by 2. Therefore, this becomes 1, and this side it will have power 3 by 2. And we need to calculate n, keeping n on one side, take the other terms. Pi comes to the numerator, 3 goes to the denominator. That is the equation. And using this equation, if you calculate, m must be mass of electron, as I mentioned, it is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. H is the Planck's constant, whose value is 6.625 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. That value has to be substituted and n will be estimated. And the second part of the problem is to calculate the probability of occupation F of E. Probability of occupation can be calculated, of course, using an equation, but here no need to use the equation because the problem gives you an hint that the energy level is above the Fermi level. You know that at 0 degree Kelvin, any energy level above the Fermi level will not be occupied by the electrons. And all energy levels below the Fermi levels are completely filled by electrons. Therefore, just with this idea that if 5.5 electron volt is higher than 5 electron volt, you can say that no energy level above Fermi level is filled by electrons. That means probability of occupation of an energy level above Fermi level is 0. Therefore, F of E is said to be 0. This is the answer for this. And for problem number 7, we need to calculate Fermi energy and Fermi velocity in a metal of electron density, that is n is given. And formula is the same that we used in the previous problem. N is mentioned, H is known value, 6.625 into 10 power minus 30, 4 joule second, mass of electron 9.1 into 10 power minus 30, 1 kg. Substitute them and get the value of EF, that is in joule. If you want to express this in electron volt, divide this by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19, so that you will get a value in electron volt also. And for calculating Fermi energy, you know that energy is half mv square in general. But in particular for the Fermi velocity, EF is equal to half mvf square. On simplifying and rearranging, you will get this equation. EF is already obtained, m is known, mass of electron, obtain the value on substituting those values. So I have given the constants also. And in problem number 8, you have to determine Fermi-Dirac distribution function. Fermi-Dirac distribution function means it is the probability of occupation of electrons at a given energy level. It is same as that. At an energy level 0.03 electron volt above and 0.03 electron volt below, Fermi level at 297 degree Kelvin. In the earlier problem, I was saying that any energy level above the Fermi level is not occupied by electrons at 0 degree Kelvin. But at a temperature higher than 0 degree Kelvin, there is some chance that an energy level above the Fermi level can be occupied by the electrons. Therefore, you should not be confused with the solutions of this equation. Let me tell you the given value, E minus CF, because we know the expression for the probability of occupation is 1 by E power E minus F by KT. E represents the energy corresponding to any energy level in a given system, but EF is corresponding only to the Fermi level. And K is Boltzmann constant and T is absolute temperature, that is given here. And in the problem, it is given that 0.03 electron volt above. When 0.03 electron volt above means the difference E minus EF is positive. That means E is greater than EF. That's why you have to take E minus EF as plus 0.03 electron volt in one case, and in the other case, that is when 0.03 electron volt below Fermi level is taken. 0.03 electron volt below means what? It is an energy level below the Fermi level. So obviously E is smaller than EF, therefore E minus EF becomes negative. That is the reason why I have put negative sign for this. So we have to calculate F of E twice. by taking E minus EF as positive 0.03 electron volt, and by substituting K, that's what the Boltzmann constant 1.38 into 10 power minus 23 joule per Kelvin. T is given, E minus EF is here, substitute those values and get this answer. 0.237, it's also nothing, it's also mentioned in terms of the percentage that it is 23.7%. And by taking negative value, that is minus 0.03 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 joule in the place of E minus EF, you calculate it once again, you will get this answer 0.763. This completes the solution of this equation. I will again go back to the portal page in order to check if everything is going well. Okay, it's fine. Plus 77. So there are 77 students. I will take the attendance automatically, you need not worry. Yeah, it's going well. So I will be back to the problem sheet again. I think I solved this problem number 8. Yeah, 8 is finished. Let me go to the problem number 9. Estimate the temperature at which an energy level 0.4 electron volt above the Fermi level has 30% probability of occupation by electrons. Estimate the temperature at which an energy level 0.4 electron volt above the Fermi level has 30% probability of occupation by electrons. That means E minus EF is given. Difference is given. 0.4. Plus is taken because it is given that this energy level, this much electron volt above the Fermi level. Above represents positive. Therefore, plus 0.4 electron volt is taken. Probability of occupation is 0.3. That is given. 30% means it is 0.3. So temperature to be calculated, formula is the same. You have to simplify this equation. How to simplify? You apply logarithm, natural logarithm. You just observe the steps. I have taken this step to left hand side so that I am getting this one. And f of E is multiplied. Therefore, you will get f of E into e power E minus f EF by KT plus f of E. That plus f of E is taken to right hand side so that it becomes minus f of E. And now this f of E is brought to right hand side so that it goes down to the denominator, and apply the natural log because you have to calculate the value of t. It should be brought down from the power of the exponent. Therefore, natural log has to be applied. Log base E. Natural log means log base E. So you know that log base E power x is simply x. That is the basic definition. Okay, because log base E, that is ln, natural log of E, that is exponent having some power, will give you only the power, the component, this one, only E power E minus EF by KT. And natural log 1 minus f of E by Fe. If you want, you can separate the terms or you can directly substitute also. So natural log 1 minus f of E minus ln f of E. Now you need t, therefore just rearrange, you will get this expression. And E minus EF is given 1 minus f of E. F of E is mentioned 0.3, K you take it as 1.38 into 10 power minus 23 joule per Kelvin. Substitute that Boltzmann constant value to calculate the temperature. It comes out to be 5473. It's practically, of course, unachievable. Problem number 10. A superconducting tin has a critical temperature of 3.7 K in zero magnetic field and a critical field of 0.0306 Tesla at 0 degree Kelvin. Find critical field. So this problem is about the superconductors. For solving this problem, let us understand the given values. Critical temperature is given. That is the temperature at which a conductor becomes superconductors when it is cooled from room temperature. and critical magnetic field at 0 degree Kelvin. What is critical magnetic field? It is the magnetic field required for a superconductor to become a normal conductor in presence of that magnetic field. So critical magnetic field at 2 degree Kelvin of temperature to be calculated, that is Hc. So critical magnetic field equation is this. T means temperature at which we calculate the critical field Hc is given here, that is 2 degree Kelvin, and Tc is also mentioned. H0 is given, that is the maximum magnetic field required for highest magnetic field required for a superconductor to make it a normal conductor. That is always highest at 0 degree Kelvin. That's why it is said that critical magnetic field at 0 degree Kelvin, hence H0 is taken. So you remember that H0 is the critical magnetic field only at 0 degree Kelvin, and Hc is the critical magnetic field at any temperature but below Tc. Right. And on substituting the values, you will get the answer 0.02166 Tesla. That is the simple problem, direct substitution problem. And this is little complex. For a specimen of superconducting material, the critical fields are respectively 1.4 into 10 power 5 and 4.2 into 10 power 5 ampere per meter for 14 Kelvin and 13 Kelvin. Calculate transition temperature. Transition temperature means it is the critical temperature and critical fields at 0 degree Kelvin and 4.2 degree Kelvin. Critical field at 0 degree Kelvin means it should be H0, and in critical field at 4.2 K means it is the critical field Hc. Right. Critical temperature is given, critical magnetic fields. Two values have been given, that's why I am taking Hc1, Hc2. And then temperatures T1 and T2. Hc1 is the value at T1, Hc2 is the value at T2. And at 0 degree Kelvin, it is 0.0306 Tesla. Okay. We have to calculate transition temperature Tc, critical fields at 0 degree Kelvin, H0 and critical field Hc3. These are the values to be calculated. In fact, you can observe that this is the equation. Basically, Hc equal to H0 into 1 minus T by Tc square. For Hc1, this is T1. And you know that Tc remains the same irrespective of this Hc value. That's why Tc should be same in both the cases. So on substituting the values of this Hc2 and T2 also, and by rearranging, means you are dividing this equation by this equation in order to remove the common term, that is H0, so that it is possible to get Tc, because in this equation only one is the unknown term Tc. T1 is given, T2 is given, Hc1, Hc2 are also given. Therefore, simplify this equation and get the value of Tc. That is one part. And substitute this value of 14.5 K and in any one of the two equations, means any one of these two equations, and get the value of H0. Probably in my previous slide there was one error. So this is not given in this problem. It is inserted wrongly. Okay, you forget this particular value. It is not given in the problem. We are actually estimating, right, using the values of critical magnetic fields at two different temperatures. We are calculating H0 at, that is at 0 degree Kelvin. We are estimating. It is not given. Okay, anyway, come back to the page where I was saying that Tc can be calculated using this equation, and put this value, that means the Tc value in any one of these two, so that you will get the value 2.066 or approximately 2.1 into 10 power 6 ampere per meter. And now you have the values of Tc and H0. You have to calculate the critical magnetic field at another temperature, that is 4.2 degree Kelvin. That was T3 we have taken. And substitute that value here. Tc is calculated, H0 is obtained here. On substituting, you will get the Hc3. This is the critical magnetic field at the temperature 4.2 degree Kelvin. And the 12th and the last problem. at 6 degree Kelvin of temperature, critical magnetic field of a superconductor is this 5 into 10 power 3 ampere per meter. The substance requires a magnetic field of 2 into 10 power 4 ampere per meter at 0 degree Kelvin. Okay, this is at 0 degree Kelvin. That means this must be the value of H naught. To become normal conductor, calculate the temperature at which it changes to normal conducting state when heated. What does it mean? Calculate the temperature at which it changes to normal conducting state, means it is the temperature called critical temperature or transition temperature. It is not directly asked in terms of the critical temperature or transition temperature terms. Instead, the definition is given in this problem. So it is a small trick used in this problem. You just have to understand that it is the transition temperature or the critical temperature. Okay, given values are T, that is 6 degree Kelvin temperature. At that temperature, we have to calculate the critical temperature, critical magnetic field. And magnetic field at 0 K is given, that is H naught. And formula is the same that we used in the earlier problems. H equal to H naught into 1 minus T square by Tc square. Right, here T is given 6 Kelvin, Tc is to be calculated. Simplify this equation and obtain the answer. That would be 6.9.